Yeah, hello.
Welcome in, guest. Are you 18 plus?
Yeah, I'm 41.
Wonderful. May we get your pronouns, please?
My pronouns are it.
You said he,
It.
It. Yeah.
it. Okay.
Because
You
I'm
believe in...
and I mean this really serious. It's not trolling. I'm identifying as a black hole because I think that is what the soul is. Your eyes are literally black holes sucking information out of its surrounding. Your ears also, your nose also. You come out of a black hole of your mother. You want into black holes of other girls or other guys, whatever. So the whole reality is only a black hole. And the reality is God. And God is attached to eat himself the whole time because there is only one soul, and this soul is only a black hole eating itself the whole time and never getting out. So this year is a hell.
Okay, great.
And
That
the
is
devil is
wonderful
God.
in
Yeah.
case that comes up in conversation. Conversation, rather.
Yeah.
Two things.
Just one last thing.
Ace, you're
One last
echoing
thing.
some. Hold on, I'm still talking. You'll have your chance in a second. Ace, you are echoing a bit, and then we do have two more questions to ask you, Ole, before we get into the meat of the conversation. Do you
Just one
believe in a
last
God?
sentence. I'm done.
Do you believe in a
Because
God?
yeah, sure.
And
Everything
which
that
God do you
exists is
believe in?
Satan.
So you're a theological Satanist? Or a theistic Satanist?
I don't know. I would say I'm satanic. Yeah.
You're Satan himself?
Because I believe this year is the hell. I
So
also
you
wrote a
believe
book
that
about
you
it.
are Satan?
Yeah, exactly. You also, because there is only one soul. You're just another life for me.
Well, we tend to think that Satanism is pretty cool. So we are going to move on to the next guest, if we have one. Unless Ace wants to override
One
that.
last thing. Because my main argument is, name anything. It's not sucking information in or spitting information out. That means we are just a robot. God is a living big AI.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
You have your eyes. What are your eyes doing? Sucking information in, spitting information out. Anything else? No. What is your ears doing? Sucking information in, zero. Spitting information out. Nothing more. Or name anything other, but I don't think you can name anything because there is nothing then, zero or one. Sucking information in, zero. Spitting information out, one. Your mouth do the same. Your skin pores do the same.
I got
Your
a question. Where's the output for the eye and ear?
The output. If I look at you, what information is your eye spitting out? Maybe your eyes are blue. Maybe your eyes have
Oh no, that's
red.
not my eyes putting out information. That's you taking in the information. They're
Yeah,
not actively transmitting
because
anything. They just exist.
yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the different.
You
That's
only
different
have
than
to.
projecting. Projecting
No,
involves an action. Just existing to be observed is very different.
no, it's not different.
Yeah, it is.
It's not different. No,
My
which
talking
different?
to you is projecting something for you to receive.
Yeah,
My
it's
mouth,
one. You're
my
talking
lips.
11111.
Why are you so binary?
Because everything is binary. You
No,
can't
it's
name
not.
any point
No,
except
it's
of
not.
this. Yes, and name any point.
Wavelengths aren't binary. Radio frequencies aren't binary. Energy
Yeah,
isn't
they
binary.
are. Yeah,
It's not
they
binary. It's analog. Do you know what a waveform is?
Yeah, a wave.
Exactly. Does a waveform just go from 0 to 1? Is it either on or off? Or does it
I
have
don't
a
know.
curve?
One of both.
It has a parabola, right? Have you heard
Yeah,
of a sine and a
exactly.
cosine wave? That means it's always
Yeah.
existing. It's not on nor off. It is both.
Yeah, but you could say if the wave goes up, it's 1. If the wave goes down, it's
when
0.
you digitize a wave, right, you have 0, 1, -1. Right,
Yeah,
so
and
you take out all
negative
of
one,
the
negative one is also
curvature
1.
of the wave.
Yeah,
when you
but negative
digitize it.
1. Yeah, but
When you
negative
make it
1 is
binary,
also 1. It's in
when
the
you
name of
make
it. What are you
why do you
talking
keep
about?
talking?
Because
Yeah,
it makes no
wait for
sense what
Katie
you're
to be
saying.
done saying her sentences.
No, it makes
before
no
we start
sense
yours.
what you're saying. Because, like, do you understand physics?
No,
Like,
not
actually
really.
understand physics? That's
No, not really.
apparent. That's apparent because you don't understand what a waveform is. Your example of everything has been binary, right?
Yeah,
Digitized.
and I can describe anything with 0 or 1.
No, you
How
can't.
does a computer model work? It's only work with zeros and ones, and you can, for
But
example,
what about a
GTA,
light
it's
wave
a
doesn't work with
simulation
zeros
based
and
off
ones?
0 and 1 and describes our
Only,
whole
only,
being.
only child.
If you want
Listen.
me to just say the word.
Listen. Sure, a digital system works on binary code. On or off, 1 or 0. That's it. But a wavelength of light, a wave of sound, an X-ray, a microwave, the things that help us push things around the globe and see and hear and feel and do, those aren't binary. Those are analog. The
Why
binary
not?
actually truncates the signal, makes you miss parts of the signal.
How?
Because it only exists as on or off. It doesn't have the in-between states that actually exist.
There are no in-between states.
But
The in-between states are 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, or 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0.
This is my problem. You don't understand the laws of physics. You don't understand how wavelengths work. You don't understand how you hear sound and see sight is not on and off. And like, what does this have to do with the prompt to begin with?
The prompt is your God good? I say no. God is Satan.
Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah, then
Are
we're
we
on the
talking
same
about the
page. We're
biblical
gonna
Satan?
move on.
Yeah. But if we're talking about the biblical Satan, he's actually a pretty cool dude.
Kind of. You have to take 1% of this religion, 1% of that religion, then you make it all together like a jigsaw or something. It's like a riddle, and then you have maybe some part of the truth. So it kind of, this year is a hell because you're never getting out, and you are in a constant, not an absolute constant being of suffering, but you have to suffer.
Really? I don't feel like I'm
immortal
suffering
time.
right now.
Yeah, you are not right now, but there are people on the world, they suffer, and
But
they
then I'm not in hell.
always.
They're in hell and I'm not then.
How I say it in the beginning of everything, there is only one soul. You are everybody on the planet.
Oh, no, I'm not. Because if I was, then you would be part of me and you'd understand what the fuck I'm saying.
No, this is not how it works.
No,
it seems like you don't understand. Just watch, for example,
part of the prima materia.
No, come on, don't ask questions and babble and don't get my answer back. What is this? You're interrupting the whole time. You ask a question and then...
I didn't ask a question. I gave a statement and I wasn't done. If we're all part of the prima materia, right, which is what you're alluding to, is saying we're all one soul, right?
Yeah,
so we're all part of the primary thing, then we're all interconnected, and therefore we should be able to understand each other.
No. Why that should be?
Because if we're all part of the same soul, then we're connected.
And there are people that have many different personalities. I don't know if you know that mental disorder, multiple personality disorder or something like that. They also are one person, but doesn't know what everybody else in this body does. So your argument is pointless.
Has nothing to do with the soul. That's a psychological condition usually brought on by extreme stress and trauma.
But you say it's if we are one soul, we had to know everything from one on another. And I say no, not.
Not even that good of a Satanist, Phil Bro, to be honest, because he doesn't even keep a logical consistency with things. But that's okay.
Can we see if Sephiroth can tackle it?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
So, you and I have talked plenty of times before. You're always funny. But I have a question because I don't think I've ever heard you give this response. We take 1% of this religion and then 1% of all the other religions and we combine what we want and it makes sense. What 1% of these belief systems should we be taking to collectivize into one belief?
Look, how I said, we are a robot, 0 and 1. That means there are always 2 points in the universe, suffering or satisfaction, But one guy has to suffer, so in the next life, you get satisfaction. You understand this point, Jesus, for example, gets on the cross. In the next life, someone doesn't has to get on the cross. He maybe gets the next king then. You understand that? So,
I understand the claim that you're making.
It is like that Jesus sacrificed his life for us, because he is us also, and every one of us is Jesus, and anywhere in the existence there has to be pain, because without pain the whole existence makes no sense. Think about
just really quick,
a parachute jump. Just one last sentence.
Go ahead.
Just think about a parachute jump. If you jump out of a plane and you can't crash down on the ground, there is no risk. Then there also is no reward. And so Jesus, metaphorically, sacrifices his life and get to suffer, though other people don't have to suffer. So I understand that.
Gotcha. Would you say that you hold to the Bible? Like, is the Bible your book of choice?
No.
Okay.
I also wrote myself a book about the universe. It named the Satanic Bible. You can buy it on Amazon, by the way.
You'll have to DM me that one. I might actually look into it. Who knows? But real quick, when you make the claim that we're all Jesus, what exactly does that mean?
That means in any part of the universe, you have to suffer. You have to sacrifice yourself, your well-being. For example, if you're a skateboard driver, and anyone wants to see your cool tricks, you just have to practice, and maybe you crash on your mouse. So you sacrifice your time to, what's the English word for it? Sorry, I'm not the best in English. So if he gets crushed down on the ground, that for you can watch him make cool tricks. You understand this, kind of?
Kind of.
But I explain it better in my book, maybe. You can read how I say. Or you can listen to my music on YouTube. I type it in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, please do.
And also my book is in the chat.
Yeah, I made sure to take a screenshot of that. I'll check it out.
We are just black holes. And the reality is also a black hole, and you get eaten by reality the whole time.
Black hole? The sun is a black hole?
Everything is a black hole.
It's a black hole sun?
Yeah, absolutely. I also make the song about the black hole sun.
I hope it comes and washes away the rain.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brad. I knew you were locked in for that.
I also have one song on Spotify named Black Hole Sun.
Chris Cornell is one of my favorites. Of course, I'm locked in for that.
I know. Wait, why can't I think of who sang that?
Chris Cornell.
Thank you.
Soundgarden.
Left my mind. Yeah, I'm just totally blanked out for a second. You know, because it's the black hole in my mind.
Yeah. Always taking in and giving out information.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to come from? You come from the black hole of your mother. Where do you want to? You want into another black hole. And
I don't know. I don't have a belly button, so I might not have been born that way.
Maybe, but that's exceptions. And also,
Nothing else.
you always come from a black hole.
Do I? How do I not have a belly button then?
I don't know.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say we are black holes?
Yeah.
And we come
Exactly,
from
yeah.
black holes. Mm-hmm.
We are portals, black-white portals. Your eyes sucking information in, spitting information out. Your reprogression.
What the fuck?
Welcome up, guest. Are you 18 plus?
Yes.
Wonderful. May we get your pronouns, please?
Man. He.
And what pronoun would that, bro? You said he?
He.
Gotcha. Do you believe in a god?
Yes.
And which one would that be?
The Almighty God.
I remember you from the other day.
Are you a believer of the Bible God? Are you a believer of the God of the Quran? Are you a believer of...
He's a Christian.
He's a Christian? Okay.
Yep.
What was the conversation about last time?
I don't remember, but it wasn't a great one.
They hardly ever are. Philip, do you remember what our conversation was about last time?
What do you get? You love talk about that. My God is good.
Okay.
Wait,
Well...
were you the one that said, that slaves wanted to be enslaved?
The what?
Were you the one that said that the slaves wanted to be slaves?
No.
Okay.
Who's an exemplary lawyer knows more than I do.
So you think your God is good?
Has a pretty high burden.
Yes.
Okay. And you follow the Abrahamic God in the Bible?
I pray to Almighty God. If it's Abraham, it's Isaac, Jacob, that God I follow.
Now they're going to have to turn that over, obviously.
Okay, and you believe this God is all good,
He's very good.
all knowing?
He's very knowing.
$1,000 worth of property debt.
Um,
A couple elements for us. One
okay. Is there a way you can turn down the background and the noise in the background?
to damage in the coating, and it has to be damage of over $1,000. And I'm really not sure how
Is it down now?
Yeah, it's not as loud anymore. Okay. So, do you think slavery is a good thing?
What?
Do you think slavery is a good thing?
No. Mankind brought it to us. It's not God.
Well, your God says it's okay.
Okay. And why did he say so?
Well, you have Leviticus 25:44-46, which says that you can go out to the land around you and get slaves, and they are to be your property, and they are to be passed down from generation to generation.
Okay. So are we doing it today from generation to generation? Or how are they doing it today?
Do you think your God changes?
If I'll go do what?
Do you think your God changes?
Well, I don't know. I think so. Because the earth and the heaven that says the same things that he told me that going to be happening is still going on. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you think your God changes?
Well, if he changed, that would be very good. So you bring a good argument for us to talk about it and start asking me all kinds of questions that they don't mean they don't mean nothing at all. If you ask me God is good, I tell you my God is good. Tell me what? I think that my God is good. I can
Philip, I have
explain
a
it to
bit
you.
of an off-topic question for you. Are you from America?
The what?
Are you from America?
I don't speak like you, right? So that means it's quite different. I think people in the southern part of America speak almost like us.
So
But
you're
I'm
not
not.
from America?
No, I'm not from America.
Okay, gotcha.
So you guys think God is not good?
I do not believe God is good.
No,
You do
the
not
God of the
believe He
Bible definitely
exists?
not.
No, I know that because like for example, you know why people become wicked? You know why people fight war? You know why people do so many things? Because they feel that nobody made them. So they don't care if they die, if they live, if they do anything. This is what happened. Now let me ask you one question, man, and then I will try to tell you what I answered that question. Did your mother and father have any cookie jar in your house?
Is there a cookie? No, there's not a cookie jar.
No cookie jar in your house.
Correct.
So your parents never told you not to do anything.
I mean, they've told me not to do plenty of things, but typically when being told not to do something, it made me want to do it more.
It made you want to do it more.
Yeah, the reverse psychology, all of that.
Okay. Now so you don't believe in God, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's why you don't believe in God. Because your parents are trying to teach you the way you should live. And you told him no. You told them no. I don't want to live the way you living. So you are taking upon yourself to do what you are want to to do what you're doing.
Well,
That is
no,
not
I don't believe in God. Like my story is stemmed from a lot of things that happened within the church that I was going to, such as the pastor being arrested for messing with kids, if you know what I mean, and also just the whole divine hiddenness. Like whenever I would call out to God, He would never show Himself. There's a few more factors than just going against what my parents wanted.
so you think as soon as you call upon God, you just show it to you? It just come to you?
Yeah, no prayer that I ever said was answered. No anything that I would come out with was shown to me by God,
So what make you who called you to live? What make you to live?
Well, I'm alive because my mother birthed me.
So your mother birthed you, so that's what caused you to stay alive today.
Yeah, if you're asking where people came from, I believe in the process of abiogenesis and evolution.
Oh. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I ask you a question all the time. When did science come into being?
Science has always been here. It's just the discovery itself. I'm not sure on the exact date of when it was discovered.
Was science in existence when Adam and Eve were created?
Again, yeah, science has always been here. Just when it was discovered, I don't have the exact date.
For when what was discovered exactly?
Science.
Well, sir, I tell you what, in order for you to live, there have to be somebody looking over you. It's not science looking over you.
Okay, so my question now would be, why do you think it's your God? Why can't it be another God, one that came before your God was ever thought to exist?
Because I know that my God, I know what it is doing. From the time I was born to the time, I'm about over 50 years old. So I'm doing good to God. That's why I'm living. Let's watch you. Let's watch a gentleman that talking, even though he doesn't believe in God. But God is keeping him alive. There is nothing happening to us. Science you cannot tell me that science is doing that.
Well, science is doing that, keeping us alive and everything. It's not it doesn't have to be given to the credit doesn't have to be given to a divine being.
Wow. So can you go in the lab, sir, and make human being?
Say that one more time.
Can you go in the lab and make a human being?
I mean, technically, yes.
And how many human beings on earth that were made through science, sir?
That would be science, yeah.
Science that made themselves?
I'm not sure what you're saying right now. I'm sorry.
No, I asked you, can you go in the lab and make man or make human being? You said yes.
Yes, technically you
I'm
can.
asking you, how many human beings are made through science?
Right now, none. But just because that is the case, doesn't mean that it can't be done in the future.
Wow, in the future.
Well, the technology probably hasn't been invented or discovered yet, or something or other. We just haven't progressed that far scientifically.
Science is always evolving.
Yes.
Always evolving. Wow.
Just like our knowledge of the universe is always evolving.
Wow.
Yeah, like way back, they didn't know that Mars was a thing. They didn't know that Mars existed. But as time went on and as our scientific progressions got better, then we were able to use telescopes and such to see that Mars does in fact exist.
Who told you that they did not know, sir?
That Mars exists?
Yes.
We have pictures, we have video, we have people who have gone into space and saw it. There's a lot of evidence surrounding the existence of the planet Mars.
So where were our parents, Adam and Eve?
Say one more time.
Where was Adam and Eve?
Adam and Eve, I don't believe that they existed, but they would, according to the biblical text, they would have been in the Garden of Eden.
And where is our garden, sir?
If I'm not mistaken, I think people believe it's in Kentucky, in America. That was the last thing I heard. But don't take my word for that, because I haven't done the research myself.
Where what was?
The Garden of Eden. The last thing I heard was that it was somewhere in Kentucky or some shit. But again, don't take my word for that. I don't know for sure.
God. Kentucky, America. So we had a garden. We had God with us.
Wow. Maybe. I have no idea. Again, I haven't done the research on it. That's just the last thing I heard.
So just live. Just live when the night comes, you go to bed. When the day comes, you get up. And just live. and trust that you are living. That's all. You are living because something above you that causing you to live.
Well, no, I'm living because I breathe in oxygen every day. The blood stays flowing.
Who gave you that oxygen, sir?
The earth does, the trees. All the
The
different
tree?
plants, they give,
Yes,
plants, they
the
give off
trees do.
oxygen.
Why they give you oxygen? They give you all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in your mom's stomach, the tree give you the oxygen?
Well, you don't technically need oxygen while you're in the stomach. You feed off of the mother.
So who gave her the oxygen?
The trees. The plants. all the different greenery that's around the world all take in the carbon dioxide that we breathe out, and they put out oxygen that we breathe in.
Which is funny because oxygen is also why we age. So
Yeah. Good old biology.
Well, that's good for you guys, man. That really good.
Did you say that's stupid?
No, I said that's good for you guys.
Oh.
I can't call it stupid. That's what you believe in. So I can't persuade you to not believe what you believe in. You know?
And I believe because I believe in what I believe in because I've done enough research and I haven't had enough evidence of a higher being to believe in one. So I don't chalk it up to a higher being.
Wow. So when you, for example, let's say for example, you cut yourself. Now you will tell me again science. How that won't heal? What caused it to heal?
Usually the body will recognize that there's an injury and it will start working to close the injury so that it does not continue to bleed.
And who put that sense in your
Most of that would
mind?
be subconscious. As for external healing, if it needs it, I would either use a Band-Aid, or if it's severe enough, I would go to the doctor and make sure that they can fix whatever issue I have.
What put that in your mind, sir?
What put that in my mind? I did. If I get injured, more than likely I'm going to be the one telling myself to get help for it.
Oh. Well. But I tell you what, sir, my God is a good God.
Yeah, I disagree.
your God's not a good God.
He told me not to fight war. And he told me that if I fight war, the soul that I will have, that soul will kill me. And people that go to war, some of them die because of that.
Have you ever actually read your Bible?
Of course, man.
Have you read any of the Old Testament, or has it strictly been the Gospels?
I read portion of everything.
So you know about the war brides, you know about the stoning women just because they don't bleed on their wedding night, you know that they get, if somebody gets raped and they're a virgin and they're not betrothed, that they get sold off to their rapist for 50 shekels. Do you know all this?
So listen, let me tell you something. During the day that Israel and other countries lived, they had all those beliefs. Today, it doesn't happen like that.
So your God changes with the times. Is that what you're saying?
It is. That's what happened. People are getting married to 12 years old, 13 years old. It was no problem. Today, you said, no, you cannot go with 12 years old. That's a risk,
Again,
right?
you're saying your God changes. Like his morality changes, right?
So He put everything on the earth for us to use, for us to know
Are
what
you
to do with
saying,
it.
Philip, are you saying your God changes and that his morality changes with the time?
If you want to say so, yes, let's go like that. Let's say so. You here, let's say for example in the States, people have people are calling sexual intercourse that they don't believe in a rape. They call it the certain men that this thing happened to them. Woman men never say a woman raped me. They always a man raping a woman, which don't make no sense. What I'm saying that I now done it before, but let me, for example, you are sitting in your house, you get a boyfriend, you go to that boyfriend house, you are going there for something, right? You are going there because you want him at that particular time. You go there, he start asking for something, or he start doing something to you because you say, "Oh, I don't want it." Then you take him to be a rapist, which don't make no sense. It does not, because that's what
Wait,
you
does
want
no
there
mean
for.
no? Does no mean no?
No, that's not what. But then you should have stayed home. You should have
Well,
stayed in your home.
for one, I live with my boyfriend. And if I said no to him, he would understand that no means no. Does no mean no to you, or is it if they come over, automatically you think they want to have sex?
Man, if you don't want it, you'll not be part of that group. That's why it is. You're gonna take all
You're
these
still not
things.
answering. Philip, does no mean no?
Okay, so you know me no. If you said no me no, that's fine. That's how you believe. That's
Oh
how you
my.
think.
Oh my.
Man, that's how you think.
I can
But I
move
Do
don't
him
you
think
think that
down.
way? Do
I
you
don't
think
think
if somebody says no, do you think they mean no?
man, if you say no, that means you're not supposed to be part of that group. Because that's what you are there for.
Oh.
Get it this way, that's what you are there for.
That's still in your mind. Does no mean no? It's literally a yes or no question. Do you think if somebody says no that you should stop, or that it's okay to keep going because they're there?
So I'm telling you, if you don't want it, don't be there. Don't engage into it.
Oh, okay, he's victim blaming. Got it.
Oh my.
I know you live with your boyfriend. Your if your boyfriend get it, not every day. It's not every day he coming upon you. It's not every day.
If I told him no, he would
Sometimes,
listen to me.
sometimes
If
one,
somebody
sometimes
tells you
one day.
no, if somebody
Sometimes,
tells you no, do you listen to them?
so if somebody tell me no, I will listen to them. But in this case, what is happening is not right. It's not right. I will not. You will not jump on and go and tell somebody, "Oh, my boyfriend wanted to rape me." That's what you are there. You are there in the house for him.
I am
You are not.
not here for him.
But then why you go? Why you went to him? Why
Because
you
I
went to
love him.
him? What?
But if I said I didn't want to, he would understand that.
Oh, okay.
If I say no, it means no. If a woman says no, it means no. Please tell me you
Oh,
understand that.
okay, man. Okay, man. That's why you're getting the man into trouble, man. That's not good.
What in the actual fuck?
Ma'am, I want to tell you that's not good. You cannot go and accuse
Has
me
a
of
woman?
rape
Okay.
because that's what you
I have a
are made
question for you, Philip.
Go
Has a
ahead.
woman ever told you no and you kept going?
No woman ever told me that.
No woman has ever told you no.
No,
Have they ever said maybe later? Have you ever pestered somebody until they agreed?
yes. What all they had to do with the Bible, man?
Oh my.
You see what? You see, let's look at the Bible. Let's see what these things supposed to
No,
be.
you don't get to talk anymore. You do not get to talk anymore. Oh my.
Just drop him.
Yeah.
Welcome up, guest. Are you 18 plus?
Yes, sir.
May we get your pronouns, please?
Yeah, I'm a biological male.
And what pronouns would those be?
The male ones.
Which are?
Man.
That's not a pronoun.
Pronouns are made up, dude. What fashion sense do you want to wear today?
T-shirt and shorts.
I identify as t-shirt and shorts. There you go.
Those are not pronouns. Pronouns are not
They are.
made up. They are a
you
common
tell me
part of the
what my
English
pronouns
language. For example, you, the word you just used, that is a pronoun.
Can t-shirt not be a pronoun?
It cannot, because it is not in place of a proper noun.
Why not? Why can't I place it in front of a proper noun?
I mean, if you want to use neo-pronouns and be extremely progressive, that's fine.
I'm super progressive, dude. I'm a dang t-shirt.
So what are the actual pronouns you go by?
T-shirt and shorts.
So you'd like us to refer to you as t-shirt self and short self?
No, you can just t-shirts or shorts. If you say t-shirt, I'll know you're talking about me. Same with shorts.
Well, the proper way to use that in the pronoun sense would be t-shirt self and short self.
All right, so you can call me breed self.
Are you going to be
that
this
way
bad
you
faith
know
the whole
that
time?
you're talking to me?
Are you going to be
Come
this
on,
bad
dude.
faith the whole time?
Come on, says the guy with a blaspheming prompt up, dude. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not the host. Figure it out, buddy.
Okay, dude. Yeah, all right. You're only, what do they call it? Friendly or
moderators?
something? Yeah, okay,
So
you're mod.
I want to know, how is my prompt blaspheming anything?
The implication of your prompt.
Which is
Because
what?
you're gonna obviously, you're obviously not going to church. So you're gonna say God's not good. You're gonna debate whether or not God's good. You're gonna bring up the Old Testament. You're gonna say a bunch of things like God cosigns this and that, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And then you're gonna boot me when I start making sense.
No, you're just a whiny little baby.
Okay, dude.
Every-
That's actually whiny little baby breed self. So you didn't even use my
Oh,
pronouns.
you really are
dude.
bad faith.
you are
Well,
being.
you can't use pronouns very well.
You never gave me your actual pronouns.
I'm
Yes, I
guessing,
did. I'm super progressive.
I'm guessing you're a believer of the Abrahamic God.
I'm
Oh,
guessing
he's
you're
definitely
not.
a Christian. Do you hear how he's acting?
Oh, I know. I'm. That's why I said
Oh,
I'm
I know.
guessing.
I know.
But you're
This
a
is
believer.
believer behavior all the way.
Are you a Christian?
I'm a Christian in a den of vipers. That's right.
Well, Den of Vipers is a dark romance book. Don't see how that's.
Yeah, I take your word for it. You'd know.
I would. So you think your God is your God all good?
Before we get into knowledge claims, how do you justify knowledge at all?
Well, considering the fact that I am constantly researching,
That doesn't justify knowledge. That just means that you're using it.
how does that have anything to do with is your God all good?
He just wants to try and get a gotcha.
Oh, I know. He's not going to get it, which is why he's currently teacupping.
Put the GPT down, do the debate yourself.
Sorry,
Are
you're
you
saying?
back?
A phone call.
So, again, do you believe your God is all good?
Before we make knowledge claims, can you justify knowledge at all?
How
you?
is this making a knowledge claim? I'm quite literally just asking what you believe.
So am I.
Well, I don't believe in your God.
And I don't believe that you can have beliefs without justifying knowledge claims at all.
So what's your justification for your knowledge claims?
God is the line that strings together the pearls that is the transcendental categories. Necessary precondition for knowledge itself is the Eastern Orthodox God. There is knowledge, therefore God.
So, you want the fill, bro?
Do I want the EO? No, not today. Mr. EO, are you running tag though? I'm kind of confused on what you're trying to run.
That is tag, yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure.
It's like split in two, right? First part's that you need justify logic, first part's you got to justify knowledge. Second part is the justification is the Orthodox Church worldview comparison. You know exactly what I'm doing, dude. What's your answer? Let's speed this up. What's your answer? Maybe I haven't heard of it.
What do you mean? Like, what's my answer?
Like, how do you justify the transcendental categories?
The transcendental categories just being knowledge and logic, correct?
Yeah, like number theory, knowledge, logic, language, things like this. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, I haven't quite gotten to that answer yet.
Well, there's three answers. You can either say it's nature, it's agency, or it's God. So it's which one you pick, in nature or...
So, I would like to let you know I'm not an atheist. I'm a polytheist, so I can grant your argument. Now prove it's yours.
It's not my argument. It's like a Platonic argument.
No, prove it's your God.
Oh yeah, the necessary, like why it's necessary that it's a Trinitarian God.
Why
Yeah,
it's
prove
necessary
that it is your God.
Yes, because it's necessarily the case that the Trinity is the Trinity is necessary for there to be eternal aspects such as love, truth, things of that nature. They have to.
That doesn't
Those
make
things
sense,
have
and
to
you
be
want me to
prior
tell you
to
why?
creation.
That doesn't
Pardon me?
make sense, and you want me to tell you why that doesn't make sense?
Why is that?
Because each polytheistic one, they have an explanation for love. They have an explanation for weather. They have an explanation for knowledge.
Yeah.
They have an explanation for everything you just said. Polytheism does.
Yeah,
the
so do
same
the
thing.
Muslims, so do the Protestants. They just have a worse
So
one.
now,
That's a
How?
reductio. Well, so how would all the polytheistic gods be omniscient?
omniscient doesn't make sense because that would mean that nobody has free will.
It's necessary for them to be... No, it doesn't. And it's necessary for them to be omniscient, for them to have access to universal states of affairs, which grants you justification for the transcendental categories themselves. You can't be limited in knowledge and also be true across all things at all times.
So to have all the knowledge in
And-
the world, that would mean that they would know everything about everybody, right?
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if you know everything about everybody, and you know exactly what they're going to do, yes, you
You're
do,
going to say
Brett.
life is determinist, right? But I'm going to say that causality is not foreknowledge. And then your argument implodes, and liberal
Okay,
determinist is
explain
silly.
causality.
Yes, so causality is the idea that things are predetermined, correct?
Is it?
That agent A predetermines the cause of agent B. Therefore,
Well,
as an example, God made me evil, so I must go to HE double hockey sticks.
Well, nobody's saying that.
That's what determinism would imply, yes. That I could potentially, as a Calvinist would say, was made, which in Calvinism is determinist, that they would believe that, yes, some people were created with the intention of going to HE double hockey sticks. And then the opposite, people were created intentionally to go to heaven.
Your book does say that, though.
No.
Yes, it does. You want me to prove it?
It doesn't say the Calvinist perspective, and if you're going to make an internal critique, you have to do so holding the worldview, and the worldview is against that.
Do you want me to prove what I mean or not?
You can go to the verse, you're just going to take it out of context. And it's going to be a poor internal worldview critique if you do.
Smoke, I'm curious. Why are you refusing to say the word hell?
I thought it was on TikTok friendly, just like saying unaliving instead of KI double hockey sticks.
No, you can say hell.
I know that you're able to, but sometimes it gets flagged as if you're saying the other word that I spelt.
I have never seen that happen.
It doesn't. It doesn't happen. That's the thing.
It hasn't happened to me actually, so I can't tell you firsthand, but I was told that it could.
Okay, so we're going to go to Romans. Okay? We're going to go to chapter 9. And we can read from, 19 to 26?
I think they start at 11, no? 11 or 13. It might be 13, actually. I might be mistaken.
Well, 11. Well, those aren't the ones I'm looking at. Specifically leading up to 21 through 23, which is specifically under 19 through 26.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
You will say to me then, why then does he still find fault? For who can resist his will? But who indeed are you, a human, to argue with God? Will what is molded say to the one who molds it, why have you made me like this? Has the potter no right over the clay, to make out of the same lump one object for special use and another for ordinary use? What if God, desiring to show his wrath and make known his power, has endured with much patience the objects of wrath that are made for destruction? And what if he has done so in order to make known the riches of his glory for the objects of mercy, which he has prepared beforehand for glory, including us whom he has called, not from the Jews only, but also from the Gentiles? As he also says in Hosea, those who are not my people, I will call my people, and her who is not beloved, I will call beloved. And in the place where it was said to them, you are not my people, there they shall be called children of the living God. Now, I want to focus on 21
it's
through
the
23.
first part. Yeah, the first part is what you want to talk about. Please, can you read it again?
I'm specifically focusing on 21 through 23, and that's not exact. It's the middle. Has the potter no right over the clay, to make out of the same lump one object for special use and another for ordinary use? What if God, desiring to show his wrath and to make known his power, has endured with much patience the objects of wrath that are made for destruction? And what if he has done so in order to make known the riches of his glory for the objects of mercy which he has prepared beforehand for glory?
And I'm so oh my goodness, I always get this wrong. So it's Romans 9, you said, right?
Romans 9.
And then you said it was 21 to 23 that you were reading?
21 through 23. I'm using the NRSVUE. Which version are you using?
Oh, this one? It's not my study Bible. It's my grandma's Bible. It's a Gideon's Bible. I think it's NKJV or something. Or sorry, NIV is what I meant to say. New King James, yeah, NIV.
Let's see what the NIV says, because I also have that one available. Does not the potter have the right to make out of the same lump of clay some pottery for special purposes and some for common use? What if God, although choosing to show his wrath and make his power known, bore with great patience the objects of his wrath, prepared for destruction? What if he did this to make the riches of his glory known to the objects of his mercy, whom he prepared in advance for glory?
Yes, so it's 18 and 19 explain the idea that, okay, so first you would have to take into the account the idea that God has written his law on all of our hearts, on our nous, right? The idea that we know right from wrong inherently as per God's will written on our heart. This is why, children recoil at the sight of violence or something. So if we have the free will to choose the good from the bad and we decide to choose the bad, I think that's Romans 9:18. It talks about him being patient with us despite all this, right? It doesn't mean that we don't have...
18 says, so then he has mercy on whomever he chooses, and he hardens the heart of whomever he chooses.
Exactly, yeah. So, and you have to understand that, like, his choice is based on our obedience, and so there's free will in both God and us, right? So this is...
What about hardening Pharaoh's heart 10 times because he wanted to show his power?
Yes, he is going to harden the hearts of those who turn away from him.
Well,
and he by right has the ability to provide judgment over those.
But he can do whatever he wants, so it's technically not free will. You can say we have the right to...
So if he can do whatever he wants, how does it that I can't do whatever I want?
You can say you have the right to choose.
Yeah, free will, yeah.
That's not free will.
Free choice and free will, I get what you're saying. There is genuine free will.
What is the definition for free? What is your definition for free will?
I believe free choice is limited in scope and compared to free will.
What is your definition of free will?
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a definition out, dude. Sure.
Well, yeah, because obviously our definitions aren't matching up, so it just makes sense for us to agree on a definition, right?
Yeah. I mean, do you think the Bible is written to be understood in a Calvinist perspective?
What does this have to do with getting a definition for free will? I want to know what your definition for free will is.
What's yours?
The capacity of individuals to make independent choices, act voluntarily, and take ownership of their own decisions without being completely constrained by fate, genetics, or prior physical causes.
Capacity of individuals to make conscious, uncoerced choices about their action, and implies that you are the unlimited source of your decisions and hold moral responsibility for them.
May I ask where you're getting your definition from? So that way we can be on the same page.
I just Googled it, yeah.
Do you have like a specific site that you're using it on?
AI Overview told me this. I can go to an Encyclopedia Britannica. Yeah, like I said, I just Googled it. I'm under the assumption that free will is being the ultimate arbiter of your decision making.
Okay, so I have the Cambridge Dictionary pulled up.
Sure. Tell me what Cambridge says.
The ability to make and to act and make choices independent of any outside influence.
Okay.
outside influences can include a lot of things. It's like being, okay, so you're being held at pew point, and you're being told to give them your wallet or else they will unalive you. Do you have free will in that? Do you have the free will to decide what you want to do in that, or is it one of two options?
Yeah, I mean, you have the choice to do anything in that moment.
You have a choice to do anything in that moment?
Yep. Yeah, if somebody's got a pew to your head, can't you do anything?
No.
What does he have, like a Star Trek tractor beam over your body or something? You can't move your arms or whatever? You can tell him where to go, how to get there. You can turn around and headbutt the pew if you wanted to. You can do anything, right? What's stopping you from doing anything you want in that moment? Everything has consequences, right?
Well,
but doesn't mean that you don't have free will.
What's the bigger consequence? What are you more likely to do in that scenario? Do you think you're going to have your wits about you?
Well, that's a different question entirely.
But do you think you have your wits about you, or is an outside influence causing you to not be able to
like I
fully
said, foreknowledge is not causality. God may have foreknowledge, but that does not mean that God is locking you into a particular behavior or something like this.
Okay, let's go another way. If somebody has control over the whole universe, and they tell you you're going to be picking up your phone at an exact time, mind you, this person's all-knowing. He knows exactly what you're going to do at any given point of the day.
He has foreknowledge, yeah.
He says you'll be picking up your phone at an exact time. Mind you, you don't know you're doing this. You don't know he's saying this. And you pick up your phone at the exact time. Is it because he planned for it to happen, or because you chose to?
Because you chose to. In that moment, could you have not picked your phone up?
You think if an all-knowing person said you're going to do something, that you're not going to end up doing it?
Knowing it isn't causing it, is it?
So is he all-knowing, all-powerful, all-wonderful, all-loving, everywhere all at once?
God's providence and God's grace are a property of his essence.
So these are all properties of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, let me ask this. If somebody is all-knowing and all-powerful, that means that he can decide what you're going to do, and if you don't do it, he can decide that, well, no, you have to do it, right?
Deciding that you have to do something, right? Like,
also, can you
God's under the...
Can you please stop chewing in your microphone?
Dude, I'm trying not to.
Just stop eating while you're on the live, please.
I didn't realize it was so sensitive. My apologies.
Well, just no one wants to hear that.
Sorry, I do agree with you. I don't like hearing it myself. I hadn't realized it was so sensitive.
Yeah, it's very sensitive. I personally don't like hearing it either. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me.
I agree with you, so I do feel bad. That was not my intention.
We appreciate the apology.
Thank you for that.
Right on. I'm gonna have to dude. I'm not sure how many times have I done that before. Oh no. Okay, so
I didn't hear it until just that moment, but
thank goodness, because I was eating. I got through 3/4 of a sandwich, but I've stopped. So
kind of sandwich is it?
it's grilled cheese with brie and smoked Gouda, and it's on a focaccia and rosemary bun.
You're eating
dude, it's
bread,
nice.
and I'm on the panel. Come on, man.
Are you gluten free? Maybe celiac.
No. I am bread. This is.
Oh, that's true. You are.
My heart is heavy these days.
Right on.
People just eat bread all willy-nilly.
Well, Bethlehem, it means to break bread, I believe. The house of bread.
They're gonna destroy my house?
With bread.
Fuck.
It's like the world's fastest baguette. It just blasts through your house. Who's that dude who's got the arrow from the Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's like a loaf of... Anyways. I forget the last question.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of derailed a little bit. That's my fault.
Well, I did, so it's not your fault at all. It's me chewing. But the last question had something to do with... You were trying to hoodwink causality into God, I think, and I was trying to catch you on not doing that.
I don't even remember.
Had to do with an all-powerful, all-loving God making you do X, and it was God doesn't make you do X.
Oh yeah, predeterminism.
But God knows whether or not you did or did not do X, because God sees time, past, present, and future.
Okay, so, you know the story of Jonah, right?
Into the whale.
Yes. For what?
I believe it was a foreshadowing of what happens to iniquitous people.
He told God no, he didn't want to go preach to this group of people because he was scared for his safety.
Disobeying, yes, yeah.
And because he told God no, God decided he was going to swallow up Jonah in a big fish, because it doesn't say whale, it just says big fish. Yeah, fishy. Anyways, sorry. Right, he got swallowed up by a big fish because he told God no.
Sure, yeah. God has the right to judge.
But if we're allowed to tell God no, and he's not going to do anything, why did he do something to Jonah?
I'm not going to try and tell God no, if that's what you're talking about.
Okay, so let's switch it over to Mary. What would have happened if Mary had told God no?
So, you're talking about a very specific instance. We would say that the Holy Theotokos was free of sin prior to creation. That just would be like a non sequitur question. It wouldn't be possible. For Mother Mary to be disobedient to God is the way in which Mother Mary is made, I guess you would say. Maybe that's the wrong word, but made, you would say that she is made free of sin. So imagine you're walking through the desert blindfolded, and there's potholes everywhere. That's sin. Well, Mother Mary would be a person who doesn't have a blindfold going through the same thing, right? Everyone else eventually, walking through the desert at some point, will hit a pothole. She would know where all those are.
Wait, so you mean if Mary had told God no, she would have been disobeying God?
In that instance? What same as Jonah? Same. Yeah, Mother Mary would willingly have gone and preached regardless of danger. It would not be a possibility for her to be disobedient to God. She's made free of sin. She freely chooses to do what God wills. because she's sinless. She has no reason not to. She's made unfallen like Adam prior to the fall.
Okay, so let me see if I'm understanding this. If she had told God no to wanting to carry Jesus, she couldn't have.
Well, she could have. She freely chooses not to. But the idea of saying no to God in Jonah is different than the idea of saying no to God in the sense of carrying Christ. So, like, that's why I was saying, like, in Jonah's particular situation, that wouldn't be the case, right?
So you're saying, okay, just...
If you just, like, everything's same, you just substitute the person, it would be a different story, yes.
Mary could not have said no to God because she is sinless, and saying no to God would have been sinful.
In the case of Jonah, yes.
No, I'm talking about in the Mary story.
Okay, now you're talking about something different. So I believe, from what I understand, and again, I could be wrong about this, because this is kind of like past my pay grade. The idea is similar to angels, in which they know reality and their nature in totos as they're created. And in that very moment, they have the choice to do God's will, or like the fallen angels did, rebel, right? Mary's in a situation where she has genuine free choice to carry Christ Jesus, and she willingly chooses yes.
She has free choice?
Yeah, like the soul of Mother Mary prior to her being born would have been done differently than any other individual, aside from Christ, right? Like, that's obviously a whole different separate case entirely. So, like, we would say that Mother Mary is sinless. Like I said, she would never fall into temptation. She is without blindfold in that desert, right? She knows where all the potholes are, and she freely chooses her entire existence to not enter any of those potholes, right? And that's how she's created, willingly wanting to be the mother of Christ, right? The perfect vessel from which Christ can come from. I believe this is like the 5th and 6th Ecumenical Council talks about this. I really hope I'm not blaspheming right now. I'm pretty sure I can defend each one of these sayings that I'm making.
Okay. Well, your time is running out. If you don't mind coming back another day, I would really like to pick up this conversation.
Cool. Yeah, man. Determinism is silly. At some point, the argument just turns into you say something and I say, was that determined? And then you say something and then I say, was that determined? So anyways, let's do that another time.
Okay, thank you for coming up. Go ahead and go finish your sandwich.
Thank you, and may God bless you.
Without the bread. Welcome up, guest. Are you 18 plus?
34.
Wonderful. May we get your pronouns, please?
Him, he, his.
Excellent. Do you believe in a God?
Yes.
And which God would that be?
The creator of myself. That's the only God that it can be.
So would that be God of the Bible, God of the Torah, God of the...
No, I can't really say that because I don't think they do a good job at explaining who God is, or I don't know. Their description doesn't really match mine, honestly. But I do like the Bible, yeah. But I just don't agree with the modern day views and things like that of God.
So it is the God of the Bible, you just don't agree with how the Bible teaches him?
Yeah, like at all.
Interesting. What are your contentions with the Bible then?
Well, I don't believe he is the way they make him out to be. I just believe that, to start with, Christians in this world, they make a man God. They make Jesus God, and that just goes against everything inside of me. And I can't be a Christian because of that. Their God is basically a man. They worship the creation versus the creator. So that's the biggest contention I have with Christianity in general. Like, y'all just basically fucked up the whole pack.
So you're definitely not a Trinitarian. So your only contention that I'm hearing is that you don't believe Jesus is also God.
Absolutely not. But that's the big contention because it makes the perspective and the view completely at a whole nother angle. And what I mean by that is I believe that Jesus was just a regular man. Like, is your pronouns he, him, his also?
Mine are he, they.
Okay. Well, I believe that Jesus is just an example of how to reach a level of inner self that activates, divine abilities. So, but the source is spiritual. It's spirit to me. It can never be a man. It could feel something. It could use anything as a vessel, or anything could become a vessel of this divine spiritual energy. But that's why I see people as deceived, because they believe this guy being all like basically God. They basically worship him, is what it comes down to, and they don't even know why they make him God. But the truth is, they're cowards and weak. So he's the coolest guy that they agree with, and they make him their God low key, and they don't even know that subconsciously. But yeah, they miss the whole blessing, and then he was just showing us how to be filled with the power of the universe.
Are you Jewish?
No, I'm not anything, and I'm Puerto Rican.
Jewish is also a belief system.
I don't know. I'm not Jewish. Yeah, I mean the Jewish that they practice today, though, Ashkenazi Jewish and that Kabbalah stuff. I don't really partake. I don't think that's even organic Judaism to begin with. To be fair, either.
So how do you believe your God is all good?
No. But because he's God, he doesn't have to be, right? I don't want to question my creator, but I don't think he's all good. I mean, it could be put in that sense if you think about it as him being all powerful. So he can't do bad because everything belongs to him and everything consists of him and everything is allowed because of him. And, then in that sense, no, no matter what he chooses to do, because it can't be bad. It's his. It's like it's his stuff. It's like it's his project. It's his art paper.
There you go, Sadro. Now you can take over.
Wait, so what exactly is wrong with me being a Christian and saying that Jesus Christ is God?
Well, you're making a man to be God.
Wait, have you read the Bible?
I've read it in prison a few times, yes.
So you read it from Genesis to Revelation, right?
Yes. I read
So
almost every translation from Genesis to Revelation.
Gotcha. Do you hold God to be all powerful, all loving, and all good? Or sorry, all good, all powerful, all knowing.
All powerful, all knowing, and all good in the sense that he's not subject to any moral system or beliefs.
Gotcha. So why are you rejecting that Jesus is God? Do you reject him to be the Messiah as well? Or is it just God?
So I believe that he is the Messiah and he is the chosen man who is to be the perfect example of how to activate the kingdom within, like he said that it is. And he is that chosen one. But I do believe that the divine source of energy, which is the Holy Spirit, created that being, because it searched heaven and it searched earth, and they didn't find no one, able to fill that role, because the sperm of the first man, Adam, was contaminated, but he had to come in our likeness. So he was still promised to be born of a woman and from the seed of David and, in the tribe of Judah. And he came, and then, the word became flesh. Prophecy was fulfilled. The story that all the prophets shared about a child being born in Bethlehem in a stable, the word became flesh. Prophecy was fulfilled, and he was given to us. Praise the Lord. And, yes, he is the Messiah. He's the chosen one, like second Adam. He wasn't contaminated by the prior sperm. The Holy Spirit
Gotcha.
conceived him in the womb of a woman, and then he was born of that woman. But he is a man.
So I'm assuming that you've read First John, right, where it states that the Word was with God and the Word was God, and
Amen.
then we know that the Word would have been Jesus. So if the Word is God and
No,
the
we
Word
don't
came
know
in
that.
flesh,
That's what you believe according to your system that you're accustomed to. We don't
I'm
believe that. We
sorry,
don't know that.
are we not to regard the Bible as the Word of God?
Yes, the word is the Bible is the word of God, but the Bible's not Jesus, is it? Is the Bible Jesus?
No, the Bible wouldn't be Jesus, but the Bible
Well,
has teachings from Jesus.
okay, so he's not the word, right? That's not what it means there then. You can't put Jesus where the word is just because you believe that he's God and you want to make it that way. Because the word there
Jesus
is
is the
logos.
begotten God of Son, or Son
Yeah.
of God.
Well, the word there, buddy, is logos. And the logos in
Mhm.
Genesis is also used to create everything. So we know how, through consistent reasoning and how that word is used and the etymology of that word, that you can't just create a way to use it because it fits your theology. That's what consistent reasoning is for. And the way logos is used is to create. It's God's power. It's like the logos created the water, it created the heavens and the earths. It separated the water and divided, that's what the logos is. It's God's power. So when it says the word became flesh, that was God's power, what I'm saying, allowing prophecy to be fulfilled. That was his word in action. It's used multiple places in that same very fashion. So I would expect it to be used in that same fashion there. And that's why it's important to understand agency in Jewish thought and also etymology and, understanding how the audience received the message, because it's not the same 2,000 years ago.
Gotcha. I'm very confused on your belief. I mean, I'm not really, but I kind of am. You sound
Why?
like an interesting theist.
A theist? What's a
Yeah, you're a
theist?
theist.
Yeah,
A
someone that
believer in
believes in
God.
God.
Oh, I'm a theist. That's the label for someone that believes in a god.
Yes.
Yeah.
A god or gods.
Yeah, I believe in one. I don't believe in. That's the thing. I don't believe that there's one God. I believe that there's a source that is divine, and that you could tap into that source and become divine yourself. So, if anything, there's many gods.
Alrighty. Well, that's where I drop my Christian self for a bit.
Ace, check comments.
So wait, so we're all God?
Can become a god.
And how can somebody become a god?
See, this is why
Cool.
I preach against
Okay.
certain things. It's because I believe
Somebody said they want to use their drop.
What's up, Lush? Can we get your age for TOS?
Yeah, what's good, bro? I'm 19.
Fantastic. What are your pronouns that you prefer to go by?
He that works.
Fantastic. So you said you're agnostic?
Yeah, am I able to just like get insight on your guys' views on what you guys believe in before we start?
Yeah, sure. I'm an atheist.
I am also an atheist. Ace
All
is
right.
currently snacking, but Ace is a polytheist.
So, like, my thing about the Bible is, I think there's a lot of truth to it in the claims it makes about humanity in some ways. Like I don't think anyone can be absolutely morally good. But on the other side of it, I don't think like anyone can be saved of that. You know what I mean? And when I read through the Bible, I just can't help but like see a lot of contradictions. Have you guys like read through First Samuel? Are you familiar with the Amalekite and the Israelite war?
Fairly.
We know
Yeah.
the whole thing. Yeah.
And like that's what struggles with me is like when God sends them to kill the children and stuff like that for something that they did 400 years prior, because in the Bible it states that the son should not bear the father's sin. Like there's no such thing as like generational punishment in the Bible. God forbids that. And like you can't be punished for sins you could commit in the future, because then that would contradict free will. So I don't understand, like, if you send these kids to death, I don't understand how Christians can rationalize that for, like, saying it's a good God.
Real quick, make sure you say unalivement. TikTok likes to be annoying
Oh,
about
I'm
that.
sorry, that's my
No,
bad.
you're good. You're good.
So I am curious, and to be fair, I have no idea. The theists come up with hoops and jumps and flips and all the other things to make that thing not sound bad. So to be fair, I don't know. But my question is, you said that you're agnostic, so you're not entirely sure if there is or is not a God, as far as I'm aware. But if you had to pick what God model might be the most logical, what would you go with?
Oh, that's a good one. Have you guys heard of integrated information theory?
No.
It's basically a form of like materialism, but not like I don't, it's I don't really know how to describe it. It would be like consciousness is within. It's just like the pattern that the atoms are in and the way that they transfer electricity to each other. And like if you cut open the brain, there's no like observer where the consciousness is, like where you can say like that's you. So I could see like a form of like almost like Carl Sagan said, we're the universe looking inside of itself. And I could almost believe in like a form of that.
So essentially, the universe is God?
Not necessarily God in the way that you would define it traditionally, like omnipotent, all powerful, and all loving. I wouldn't define it as like that. But if you would define God as like a creator, I would say like maybe the universe is the creator of what we experience.
Oh, well, yeah, then I'd have to give you the answer I give anybody that proposes that. I guess I believe in God.
In which way?
I mean, if you're just going to say, like, the universe can create things and that's your idea of God, then sure. I'm not going to argue anything about the universe being any other way.
Well, I'm not saying the universe creates it. It's almost like the universe as a self-model.
Is a self-model? What does that mean?
Like, are you guys not familiar with like philosophy terms and stuff like that?
No. I'm very low tier, as most of the Phil bros tell me.
Oh, my bad. But
You're
a
good.
self-model is basically like in integrated information theory. That's what consciousness is. Like, it's a self-model of the universe, seeing it through itself.
Gotcha. That's an interesting view.
So it's almost like consciousness is a fundamental layer of the universe instead of like just like a localized instance of it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm probably not explaining it to the best that I could, but I would say that he said, God certainly says he punishes to the third generation. That's not true. In the Bible, he says he doesn't do generational punishment. That contradicts free will, too.
Yeah, there are plenty of times God punished his generations.
No, yeah, I agree that he does do it, but I do think it contradicts a lot of what he says that, like, he lays down as his moral law.
Well, yeah, because
Hang
God's
on.
man-made.
Can I bring a point up real quick?
Yeah.
So, he doesn't punish generations, but we're all still being punished for Adam and Eve's sin.
But, like, I also have a problem with that. Like, I don't understand how I'm in the wrong for what they did. Like, why I'm being punished for their sin if he doesn't punish generations, as you said.
Yeah, no, that's just another contradiction in the Bible. You'll find plenty of those.
I don't know, that the Adam and Eve story's always been like my biggest gripe too. I feel like it doesn't hold. And plus, like you see in genetics, like if everyone were to come from two people, we'd all be inbred. Like I think the statistics are you need like over 1,000 people to like have like a non-inbred society. So like just scientifically, I don't think that lines up.
Well, yeah. Do you want me to give you a little tip or hint or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah.
Genesis wasn't meant to be taken literally. The Christians are the only ones that do. If you ask a Jew, the people that came up with the shit, If you ask them, hey, do you take Adam and Eve to be a literal story? Every single one of them that I've talked to so far have all said, no, it's not supposed to be taken literally. It was an ancient people trying to understand how things came to be, and that's the most logical way they thought it to be.
And I would respect that. And I think there's a lot of aspects of Christianity I do respect that I feel like sometimes get taken out of context when people generalize the whole thing. Like, I think faith is weaponized nowadays. I am not a fan of like how people define and use faith today. But my favorite example would be like, have you ever seen the movie Hacksaw Ridge? That's based off a true story, where because of his faith, he saved over 75 people, even on the enemy side, and lifted what were they? Japanese. He lifted the Japanese soldiers that got shot down the mountain to save his enemies. Like, I think that's what faith should be used for. Like, nowadays, I feel like it's almost used to justify a lot of hatred, and I don't really agree with that.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree.
Horses talk. What does that mean? Hacksaw Ridge actually had to tone down the real. Yeah, man, I know. He like that's what I think they should be used for. Like, he truly believed in like not killing and loving your enemy and stuff like that, and just showing compassion.
Yeah, you gotta say unalive or whatever.
Oh, my bad. I keep forgetting. I'm new to this.
Nah, you're good.
Yeah, you get used to it the more you do it.
Just wait till you do it enough that you start almost using the phrases in real life with real people outside of TikTok.
You'll be on the phone with like your dad, and you'll be saying, "Yeah, so did you hear that news story about the dude that unalived this person?" Your dad's
Yeah,
like,
so
unalive? What the fuck? What are you talking about?
yeah, it becomes so engraved in your head that it becomes like a accidental thing. And I've had the love of my life flat out tell me, "Babe, you're not on TikTok right now. You can say the words."
Yeah, literally.
I want to get more into it because I feel like I have a lot I at least want to say. I don't know if it's of value. I guess that'll be found out through the events of talking. But
Well, I think anybody can add anything of value.
No,
Sure.
not anybody. Not anybody. We had a grapist up here. They don't add value to anything.
Well, fair, but I mean, I
agree with
value
that.
the knowledge that they are one, so I can fucking avoid them.
he said, "There's a teaching better than love your enemy, negotiate and avoid making enemies." I agree with that. That's slick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, to be honest, when I joined, I thought you guys were Christians, so I thought we were gonna have like a couple disagreements to hack out.
Oh no, we're hella based up here.
What
I mean,
about
if you want, you could debate the polytheists.
That is true.
How many gods do you believe in?
All of them except the Abrahamic, I believe.
It's called eclecticism, yes.
I'm intrigued to how you justify that belief. Like what gods?
As soon as I started eating the last string cheese I had.
Like what attributes would you attribute to him? Like the notion of like an all good, all loving, omnipotent God throughout time? No?
Nope. I attribute a yin-yang system.
Like a good and evil?
Yeah, like they're not all good, but they're not all bad. They're kind of in the morally gray category.
Not like the Greek gods, but like in the way that the Greek gods weren't like these perfect beings that they looked up to, right?
Yeah.
So
there's only one God that actually claims to be all good, all powerful, all loving, and that's the Abrahamic God, which doesn't make sense to me. It makes more sense that they're balanced.
I would agree with that. I wonder, like, what gods you would say that you believe in. Like, what balanced gods are there? Like, do you believe in like the god of the water? Like, back then they used to rip open people's hearts and like literally gaslight themselves because they thought the sun wasn't going to rise the next day, so they'd like sacrifice someone's heart to it. Like, you're not like that type.
No. See, our gods change with the time. As well. They're not at a standstill in their morality. My main deity, or my matron, is Artemis. Which is...
Would you be able to educate me on that? I'm not sure I've ever heard of that.
Artemis is a Greek goddess.
Oh, so you believe in the Greek god?
Well, that's my matron. That's the one I personally...
This is intricate, dude.
Yeah, so she's eclectic, which means pretty much every pantheon you can think of, like Greek, Norse, Mesopotamian, all of those. She believes in all of those gods.
I believe they all exist, but I specifically follow, I specifically follow a matron or Artemis.
Yeah, like kind of the same idea of how Christians follow God and Christ is how she follows Artemis.
Yes.
So I'm not what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not trying to tell you that your beliefs are wrong. I just wonder what logical path like you took to say confidently that you believe in that. Like what justifies your belief in that?
Something that you're not gonna hold any weight in.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to judge you for it. I mean, I've heard some crazy stuff. I think I'm a lot more open-minded than a lot of atheists.
No, the reason why I say that is because it's personal testimony, which I won't share with people because it's not going to help convince anybody. It helped convince me. Mm-hmm. But I can't go to the next person and tell them my testimony, and it's going to convince them that my matron's real.
Yeah, like for example, if someone came up to you and they're like, "I saw Jesus in my dream. He's real," you probably wouldn't believe them, right?
Yeah, I'd probably wave it off as like, "Well, you believe in Jesus, so you're more likely to dream about what you think about during the day."
Exactly.
I didn't initially believe this way. I was initially a Christian, and then I wasn't. And then my personal testimony happened, and now I believe the way I do. But I'm not going to go around and, like, first of all, try to push my beliefs onto others because, ew, that's gross. Second of all, I'm not going to share my personal testimony because that was what made me believe. It's not going to make the next person believe. And I hold myself to that.
I think I have a misconception then, because I think I conflate a lot of religions with Christianity. So in your religion, you're not like tied to convincing people to believe in it like Christianity would be.
No, the only ones that are like that are going to be the Abrahamic ones. Personally, with ours, like with our afterlife, it's based on whether you were a good person or not. Not based on whether or not you believed in that deity.
So then you probably have like a more objective view on morality then, right?
No, I think morality is subjective because, I mean, hell, I talk to so many Christians and they're all so different. You have some that, I had one earlier that made me sick to my fucking stomach because they were like, well, if you're going to go over to his house and you decide you're going to say no, and they continue, you can't call him a rapist.
That's sickening. That's just...
So, the more I talk to people, the more you talk to people, the more you understand about subjective morality. Christians are the ones that say, oh, well, morality is objective. It's not objective. It's very subjective. Like, let's say you go to a different country. They're not going to hold the same views we do when it comes to morality. you can go to a different state, and their views on morality is going to be different than my morality. It's not based on an objective point of view. It's going to be based on like your surroundings and how you were raised, and like
and more of like just the effort you put into it, I guess, more than just like the objective guidelines you stuck to.
It's more on the environment. It's not based on like a god, quote unquote.
Because like I feel like it has, like what you're explaining, it doesn't have a lot, but it has some symmetries with like Buddhism, where it's not really like a way of like trying to get into like an afterlife and love this omnipotent God. It's more of just like living a way of life comfortable for you.
Yeah.
I respect that. I think Buddhism has some truth to it. I like it because I think it's more centered around like admitting that the world's not fair, the universe we live in is probably indifferent to suffering. So it just kind of gets you okay with that. So I see some symmetries between those two.
Buddhism is a very it's not a belief system, it's a way of life.
Yeah.
I actually like Buddhism a lot. Mind you,
Yeah, I think they have good teachings.
They do. And they don't believe in like worshiping a god.
It's a atheistic following, isn't it?
It is more atheistic.
Yeah. I think some sections do get into like deities, but I think majority of it isn't. And a lot of like what they teach in Buddhism is actually in like CBT therapy that they do for like autistic people too.
But yeah, that's why like when I'm up here, you won't hear me talking about my deities very much, unless somebody's like, "Oh well, how what stupid argument do they use that makes me bring it up?"
I don't know, but I was about to say you love talking about them when people ask.
Oh yeah, when people ask, I talk.
She almost won't shut up if somebody brings it up first.
No,
I mean that nicely, Ace.
At least, like, so with Artemis, she's a bad bitch, okay? She's a fucking queen. Has she done questionable things? Well, yeah. But... no, in all honesty, like, one of her major stories that gets debated on whether there was a good reason behind it or not is she turned a man into a stag, which this man was spying on her while she was bathing, turned the man into a stag and let his 50 hunting dogs chase after him and unalive him and tear him to pieces.
Did you say 50? 50?
Yeah, 50.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of dollars.
I mean, sounds like she stands on business.
Oh,
she do.
Does. I love Artemis. But no, do you have any other questions for me?
No, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I came in expecting something different. Not that this was bad, but like I thought all of you guys were Christian, especially with like the banner "Is your God good?" So I was just expecting. So that was like totally out of left field. My bad if I sounded unprepared.
No, you're good.
No, you're good. You're not any less unprepared than
the believers that we get.
I think you were more prepared than majority of these believers.
I would agree.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys for the conversation. It was nice hearing your views. I'm gonna look into that Greek god stuff. I'm not sure I'm too convinced of it, but I see a lot of symmetries between it and Buddhism. So, and it's not that I don't want to believe in a god. Like I think life after death would be amazing. Like I I don't think anything justifies it for me right now.
I mean, even if you don't end up believing any of it, it's never, ever a bad thing to learn more about anything, you know?
Yeah, it's more open-minded, more possibilities.
Exactly. Because you might find out about something you didn't before, and it might change some of your morals. You never know.
But I appreciate you guys for the
Of course.
conversation.
We appreciate you.
Thank
It's
you.
rare.
Peace
It's
out,
rare that
y'all.
we get friendly people up here, so it's a nice breath of fresh air.
We needed that
Oh,
breath of fresh air, I promise.
I think people are too like locked into their views nowadays to where they feel like they need to justify them before they've even like stated them.
Yeah.
So I just try to have an open mind. But all right, y'all. I'm gonna talk
Yeah.
to y'all later. I
Good
appreciate it.
conversation. Feel free to hang out. Feel free to come back.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna
Of
shoot all
course.
y'all a follow.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate that.
All right. Peace out, man.
Later. Welcome up, guest. Are you 18 plus?
Yeah.
Wonderful. May we get your pronouns, please?
He, him.
Excellent. Do you believe in a God?
Yeah. The Christian God, I believe, is good.
You believe he's all good?
All good.
Gotcha. So my friend Ace and my friend Sephiroth are going to have a conversation with you. Is that okay?
Yep.
Wonderful.
I will let Cerro have an actual conversation this time. Cerro,
What's up, Andrew? Your God's good? God of the Bible?
Yes.
Fantastic. What makes him good in your mind?
What makes him good in my mind? His faithfulness to the people who seek him.
Gotcha. So, like, before I ask any questions about the Bible, how much of it have you read?
Almost all of it.
Almost all of it. All right. What does that mean?
What do you mean? What does that mean? It means
So, like, did you
I
read
fully
the New
support.
Testament and only that, or did you read some of the Old Testament?
I believe that everything in it points to a good God.
All of it?
Everything?
Every word.
So, okay. So, you know what? We're going to start with something new today.
Oh.
If God lied, would God be good?
If God lied, would he be good? What context?
So, like, God, right? We know that God is, like, supposedly this incorruptible, all good being. And what would we think if an all good being could lie?
If an all good being could lie. I don't know what you're referring to.
Like, would we still say that God's good if God could lie?
I would say, I'm not sure. What context are you referring to? What story? I'm sure you have a point on this.
I mean, I could bring you verses if you want. We can look as early as Genesis where he's talking to Adam.
Yeah, that's good.
You remember where God says to Adam, "You may eat from any tree in the garden, but you mustn't eat of the tree of the fruit of knowledge. The knowledge of good and evil. For in the day that you eat of it, you won't exist anymore. You'll unalive." And he makes a very specific claim. And then in Genesis 3, when we get to the serpent talking to Eve, Eve reminds the serpent, "Oh, well, God says that if we eat of this, we're going to unalive." And the serpent says, "No, you won't. God just doesn't want you to have the knowledge of good and evil." And sure as shit, we know that Adam and Eve both supposedly partake of the fruit. They get banished out of the Garden of Eden, but they don't unalive.
Yeah,
Did
they
God
do.
lie?
He did not lie. They do eventually die. They don't die within that hour, but because they ate of the fruit, now they're no longer invincible, I would say. And that they eventually do die, and that's why humanity only lives 100 years and they're not eternal. That's the context of that. But if you have another one, we can walk
So
through it.
they unalived. In what sense? Or are you just saying that they were no longer able to live for all of eternity?
Yeah, they are no longer living for eternity, so eventually they did die. And that's what God did not want to happen.
Gotcha. But God says that Adam would unalive the day that they ate of it.
No, it doesn't. What verse? I have it right here.
Sure, give me one sec. Let me pull it. You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat from it, you will certainly die. That's what God says.
Yeah, I mean, he's not saying a time frame or immediately. He's saying you will die. And eventually they do die. He does not lie there.
Gotcha.
He doesn't say that hour. He doesn't say that day. He says you will certainly die, correct?
Gotcha. So then we'll go ahead. I guess we'll let that one go. Let's see. Where is it? There's another one. Oh, yeah. The lying spirit that he sends. I'm assuming this also isn't God lying in 1 Kings 22:19 to 23.
Hold on. No, go back to Genesis. God did say, "For in the day that you eat of it, you shall unalive."
What translation do I need for that?
NSRVUE.
The NSRVUE.
Yeah, it says, "The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to fill it and keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, You may freely eat of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it you shall unalive."
That's fair.
What's the Genesis what?
That would be Genesis 2:15 15 through 17.
15 through 17. Well, I got it right here.
Yeah, Genesis 2.
Put them in the Garden of Eden. Work it and take care of it. And the Lord God commanded the man, you are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat of it, you will certainly die. Okay. So now let's go look at the Hebrew. Because I feel like it's already extinguished considering...
Which lexicon are you using?
What?
Which lexicon are you using for the Hebrew?
Probably Blue Letter Bible. It's 2:15 to 18. Correct.
Genesis 2:15 through 17.
17 is 2:17. Good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest, therefore thou shalt surely die. Yeah. I mean, tracing it back, it's not saying direct time. It's saying the day
that you
eat of it. Yes, the day of you eat of it, you shall surely die. You're guaranteed to die because you will no longer live forever. And that's part of sin entering the world, and that's why humanity dies and doesn't have eternal life except in heaven.
Well, would you not agree that let's say the day you went driving, would you not agree that that means you went driving on that day?
The day I went driving on that day. I think that's
Yes.
that's different because I'm saying I'm going driving on that day in that sense. This is something happens, and
Yes,
then
and he's saying if you
because
eat on
something-
that day, you shall surely
some-
unalive.
Yeah, so
I got
it's
it.
saying right here that something else is going to happen. If this happens on this day, it is surely going to happen.
Andrew, let's say that, I'll put it like this. Let's say that I ask you to do me a favor. I ask you to go to the gas station and you're going to go get me a Coke. And when you get back, I'm going to give you $5. Now you go to the store, you get me the Coke, you bring the Coke back, you hand it to me, and a week later I hand you $5. I told you within the day I would give it to you, but I gave it to you a week after.
He's not telling
Did
you
I
within
lie?
this day he is going to give you death.
So when God says, hey, you could eat anything that you want out of this garden, I made it all, but you can't eat from that tree. And the day that you do, from now 2 translations that we've looked through that says within the day or the day of, you're going to unalive. And you eat
will
the
surely
thing
die,
he says
yeah.
not to, and they don't unalive. How is that not God lying?
They do die. or unalive.
900 years or however many after the fact.
Please say unalive. We are saying it for a reason. We don't want to get the lab in trouble.
I got you. Unalive. They eventually unalive in their life. So God made a statement, and that statement came true. So if you made a statement saying you're going to give me $5, whether you give me that $5 today or next week, but you eventually give me that $5, you are not a liar. But then if you make the statement that you are going to give me that $5 today, but then don't give it to me until tomorrow, now you are lying, and you are. Does that make sense?
I don't know. Does it make sense to everybody else?
Your analogy, yeah.
No. I'm asking, does his explanation make sense?
No, considering they still call Satan a liar.
What are you talking about? What?
I'm not sure. I don't know on that
We
one.
can look at First Kings now because I feel like we're in a blunder here.
Most likely. Yeah, so the lying spirit, God sends a lying spirit to go and trick a bunch of, if I remember correctly, what was it? His prophets. Give me 1 second, let me pull the verse.
Yeah, what chapter and verse is it?
It's going to be 1 Kings 22:19 through 23.
But
Therefore hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne with all the multitudes of heaven standing around him, on his right and on his left. And the Lord said, who will entice Ahab into attacking Ramoth Gilead and going to his death there? One suggested this and another that. Finally, a spirit came forward, stood before the Lord, and said, I will entice him. By what means? The Lord asked. I will go out and be a deceiving spirit in the mouth of all of his prophets, he says. You will succeed in enticing him, said the Lord. Go and do it. So now the Lord has put a deceiving spirit in the mouth of all these prophets of yours. The Lord has decreed disaster for you.
yeah, so what's your argument here saying he's not good because he's deceiving an evil people?
Yeah, can something that claims to be all good deceive people?
Yeah, so it's a result of not following him. I mean, he would be a liar if he did not have pushback on people that don't obey him, even though he makes claims saying he will. And that's part of the repercussion of him saying, that's a repercussion of them not following him and going against his will and his desire for their making. So I wouldn't say a deceiving spirit as a deceiving spirit as a result of their actions is not a making him not good. Just and good, all just and all good. That's part of him being just.
Gotcha. I'm just confused because in my mind, at least, if God's an all-loving God, this God wouldn't be deceiving people, wouldn't lie, quote unquote. Because I would think that if it's the highest standard of love, and that's what they claim God to be,
Yeah.
then why would God lie?
How is he lying there? He is sending somebody out to deceive their army. God is not personally doing. God is not going to lie to those people, but the
Well,
spirit is going to
sure.
deceive them. Yes.
If you want one that's more attuned to that, then I think that would be in Ezekiel.
All right. Let me flip there. Ezekiel.
Give me 1 second. Let me look it up. Because it's in Ezekiel where God says, if a prophet utters a prophecy, I have made, essentially God made him say these things. He goes on to explain that he would destroy him.
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel 14:9. Yeah, it's 14:9.
14:9. Getting there right now.
It states, "And if the prophet is enticed to utter a prophecy, I, the Lord, have enticed that prophet, and I will stretch out my hand against him and destroy him from among my people of Israel."
And if the prophet is enticed to utter prophecy, I, the Lord, have enticed the prophet, I will stretch out my hand against him and destroy him from among my people of Israel. This is another one of him having to be just as well. And just because he is having repercussions and people are getting harmed doesn't mean it's taking away from him being a good God. This guy's a false prophet that's in it for his own benefit and misrepresenting God and his people once again. So God makes the statement saying if you go against and you are a false prophet, that there will be justice in his name, and this is part of the justice in his name again. I don't see justice as not being good. I don't know. Maybe a scenario. Are you guys for the wars going on in the Middle East?
No.
Okay, I'm not either. But if we continue to let somebody else, like if we continue to let Israel bomb Lebanon, bomb Iraq over and over again, and nobody steps in to even out the playing field, but then somebody does finally step in and Israel's people start dying, now all of a sudden is Israel, or is the people that step in to make it just, are they bad or are they still good? Would that take away from them being good if nobody else is going to step in and they're trying to stop evil from happening?
I mean, I don't think anybody should step in for the Jews. I think their God should save them, if their God exists. He's done it in their dirty fucking book. Why can't he do it now?
That's great right there. Okay, so now you're making a claim saying God did all these evil things and he's evil because he did these things that you're bringing up, and that's why he's not good. But now you're also saying because he's not doing these evil things that you're calling evil in the current world and killing others that are doing evil, and now he's still not good.
Well, I don't think the God exists. I don't think the God can do anything. I think humans came up with God.
Why do you say that? What points you to that conclusion, if I can ask?
Yeah, I mean, we can see this throughout all of history, right? Man was confused on something, magically there was a God. They didn't know about the world. We had animism. And then we went from animism to theistic beliefs where, well, now these gods do things. And then just slowly but surely, God evolved. Whenever you think that you can, quote unquote, disprove God, God becomes more and more unfalsifiable, making this God basically invisible to everybody because it doesn't exist. But still, the way that I understand it, though, is most people that I talk to, they don't use this thing all the time as an actual belief. Most of them will openly admit, I believe it because it makes me feel good. Or it gives them comfort because they think about dying one day or unaliving one day. So to me, God is just the safety blanket that 90% of people go to.
That's interesting. Yeah, so I really can't speak to the people claiming, like the hypocrites that are reading that to feel good. And the peace of God is real, and the safety that he provides and the comfort he provides is real. But it says in Psalms multiple times and a few other times how God is there and he will not forsake the ones that seek him. And I think there's a lot of people that do lean into these ideas of these priests and other people talking about it, but they don't go read the word for themselves. So I think the only way you truly understand the presence of God is if you seek him.
Well, that's really weird. I've done that.
How so?
Yeah, I mean, I've read the
what does that look
Bible.
like?
I've read the Bible. I've prayed. I've gone to church. I've gone to multiple churches. Whenever I talk to a different Christian at a different church, if I say, "Oh well, I just didn't feel it this time. They always go, oh, well, you could try this church. You can go to this church. Try listening to this pastor or read this book or do these things. I've had my very religious buddy come stay with me, and I just had him basically walk me through what the everyday life of a Christian is. And it looks like the everyday life of every other human being on the planet. The only difference is he prays, either before meal, after meal, whatever.
Yeah, I think devotional time is something that a lot of people are missing. And I think maybe there is a lot of people out there that aren't representing the religion well. But I don't think somebody who is being hypocritical and misrepresenting the teachings and presence of God speaks for everybody. I think it's kind of unfair if you have, they used to have a team or a company, and there's one guy in the company that doesn't get any work done or is just really unproductive. Is it fair to judge the entire company after that guy? I would say no. So these people that may not actually know the presence of God, but love the community and the love of just peoples and hanging out, that happens. That's typical to happen. And I think having a community and having a prayer life is a big part of it, but also having just intentional devotion time with God is the biggest thing you can do to find the presence of God and looking for the good and meditating on the Word. And that's how God's character has been revealed to me and His will. And I hate that you've had ill experiences and that you have met a lot of people that contradict each other. But I think the biggest thing, truly, if you are seeking God, is continue to read the Word, because the Word isn't going to lie to you. And then people are going to go ahead and say stuff like, well, people can read the same verse and interpret it a different way. And I think there's too much literacy in that. And if you're reading something, it's going to have one truth at the end of the day. And all the people that are misrepresenting Christianity are the ones stretching it out. And truly, it's hard to follow their understanding. But if there's any more arguments or scripture you want to walk through, I'd love to keep doing this. It challenges me and makes me look into it deeper.
Sure.
Or any arguments against God or any piece of His character. It doesn't have to be just He's good or just He's just or anything like that.
Gotcha. Do you think that God was just when He told people that they could have slaves?
Yeah, so now we have to go back into historically the society they were in. And historically, a slave wasn't like or the 1800s, or no, it was 1900s, and how we did it here in America, how it was unlawful and like against people's will. But slavery back then was actually like, if I'd say I wanted to buy something from you and I didn't have enough money, so now I would offer myself as a slave to work that off, and to get, like, that would be a payment in a way. So in a day-to-day look, it looked a lot differently than being unjust. And that's the only word we have to translate on who those people were, is slaves, but it kind of misrepresents in the English language on what they were actually doing and what role they were actually playing. And I mean, I actually just got done reading Leviticus, and Leviticus, it walks you through and saying, if you owe somebody something, it says every 10 years, if that amount is too great, you only have to work for them for a set amount of time, and then you are set free again. So, of course, just like now, when people get overwhelmed with loans and everything else, and like money-wise today, and they can never pay it back, that would happen just like in the Jewish culture as well. But instead of always either filing bankruptcy, instead of doing something like that, at a certain point, there's a max limit of how long you can be an anti-quote slave for somebody to work off that payment. So you couldn't be forced to work for them forever and everything else.
Well, that's fine, but that was only for the Hebrews. Only the Hebrew and the Israelites, right? Or the Hebrew Israelites, whatever the fuck.
Israelites.
Yeah.
And
Now,
the
if you were a
Egyptians as well
Gentile,
in Exodus.
if they were from the nations around them, then what were they?
I mean, that culture existed everywhere. Just like what was his name? Who got his brother sold him into slavery for the Egyptians.
Yeah, so like
the exact names of the guys in that story.
well, and that's another thing actually. I forgot about that. So deconstruction is owed a thank you from me and everybody here because I blanked on that. Yeah, like the men could go, and the men they could only serve for a certain amount of X amount of time, and then they were released. What about the women and children that were given to masters? They weren't to go free, not as the male slaves do.
After a set amount of time, they were. There was different parameters. I mean,
wait, when were the females allowed to go? Because like I'm reading Exodus 21, verse 7. If a man sells his daughter as a servant, she is not to go free as male servants do. If she does not please the master who has selected her for himself, he must let her be redeemed. He has no right to sell her to foreigners because he has broken faith with her. If he selects her for his son, he must grant her the rights of a daughter. If he marries another woman, he must not deprive the first one of her food, clothing, and marital rights. If he does not provide her with these things, she is to go free without any payment of money.
yeah. So just like that, that's a cultural thing. So it's really easy to look at it from our time period, our generation's perspective. But of course, like, well, now that would be even farther than 2,000 years ago. But back in that time when Moses and everybody else in that those people groups who were around, it would be common for a man of the house, like a father, to hand his daughter over, anti-quote slave there, but as a wife. And as it says, like in the rest of that verse that you read, if he chooses to marry someone else, even though that father handed over that woman to be married off, that he must still compensate her. So of course now where we get to choose who we marry and everything else, that just seems wrong for a man to hand over his wife. But it was a common practice in those people's culture.
Well, and I'm assuming that you know that, like, even with the men in this scenario, if the servant's given a wife and him and the wife have children, at his year of Jubilee, he can declare, I love my master and my wife and children and do not want to go free. And then he's made a slave for life.
I mean, yeah, so that's kind of like a common day marriage where he wants to be with his family and raise his family, and he's being a father figure in that household at that point.
Is it just me, or does this sound like apologetics?
It is.
Okay. Well, would you like to talk about Leviticus 25, 44 through 46? Do you remember that verse? Yeah, if not, it's fine. I can read it. You got 2 minutes, 45 seconds.
Dang, I can't queue back up.
No.
Probably not. But it states, your male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. From them you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of the temporary residents living among you, members of their clans born in your country. They will become your property. This is where we find the chattel slavery within the Bible. It's such a great time. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property and can make them slaves for life. But you mustn't rule over your fellow Israelite ruthlessly. So the Israelites, we know that they weren't to be treated as slaves. However, if you were anything other than Israelite, well, you got treated however they wanted.
I mean, then who is an Israelite here?
What do you mean?
Like, what would be considered an Israelite? An Israelite is a person that would be obeying God and pursuing Him.
An Israelite would be whatever group of people these laws were handed down to. And anybody outside of this, the nations that were around them, they could go and buy slaves and own them for life.
Anybody who wanted to pursue God with him was welcome to do so and obey their laws. But to invite every foreigner into it as well, which is consistent with the New Testament as well.
Wait, so is God all good?
Yes.
Is he all powerful?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Would you agree that God would not only desire, but have the power to implement the highest moral standard, which would include the total abolition of human chattel slavery or just ownership in general of another human being? Would you agree?
Would I agree? I think, yes, we all have God's morals on our hearts.
Gotcha. But within the Bible, right? Like Exodus 21, Leviticus 25, and Ephesians, these things contain explicit laws, either regulating, permitting, or commanding the buying, selling, and beating of human beings as property.
And
Would
Luke
you agree
12.
or disagree? Oh yeah, Luke 4.
12.
12.
I would agree
I
that
thought I
those
said 4.
laws were made for the culture at that time. That just like the laws today and how we wish-wash our morals away in a societal, and now people are starting to push that onto the Bible and say that things are okay that are clearly directed as sin. I think that those at the time of the culture at that time are just and fair accordingly, yes.
Are just and fair. Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and give you the conclusion to the things that you agreed to. Therefore, the God described in these texts either lacks the goodness to oppose slavery or the power to prevent it. In either case, a traditional all-good, all-powerful God cannot exist.
Matthew, you were first. Florida Faker, would you mind sitting on mute until we're done with Matthew?
Okay, gotcha.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Matthew, are you 18 plus?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. May we get your pronouns, please?
I'm a guy.
And what pronouns would that be?
He, him.
Excellent. Do you believe in a God?
Yes.
And which God would that be?
The God of Abraham, Moses, and Isaac.
It's the God of the Bible. Is that your phone vibrating?
Yeah, sorry, I was getting a phone call.
Gotcha. Is there any way you could decline it or turn the vibrate off? Or if you need to take it, we can go ahead and talk to Faker and you can come back after he's done. Oh, there we go. All right, so my friend Ace and my friend Sephiroth are going to have a conversation with you about your God. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay. Do you think your God is all good?
I think my God is the God of the Bible. I think is God the Father, unless we're going into the New Testament. But I think God. Yes, I think He's a good Father. Yes.
Okay. Do you believe he's all knowing?
All knowing. Yes.
Okay. So does that include women's anatomy?
Do I think that God loves woman's anatomy?
No.
I think God loves women.
No, what I asked was, does that mean he would know women's anatomy?
God knows women's anatomy. Yes. God created women.
Okay, so he would know that. Holy backfire.
Yeah, you just got a crazy echo. I think we're good now, though.
So that would mean that he would know that not all women bleed on their first time, right?
That not all women bleed on the first time that they have sex?
Yeah, he would know that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Why do you sound so uncertain on that?
Well, if you're talking about like the hymen breaking, obviously like that can break from riding a horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, trust me, I know. So, do you know Deuteronomy 22, 13 through 21?
Deuteronomy 22, 13 through 41.
21. 13. Yeah, 13 through 21.
Forgive me. What is that, Old Testament or New Testament?
Deuteronomy is one of the first 5 books in the Old Testament. It is part of the Torah.
Okay. I thought so. So Deuteronomy. Sorry, I'm just looking through my Bible. So
Wait, you have
Deuteronomy.
one on you?
Yeah, I have an actual Bible on me.
Yay.
What translation?
I'm using the Catholic Bible,
Okay.
New American Bible. So you said Deuteronomy what? I'm sorry?
22.
22. What
13,
verse?
13 through 21.
13 through 21.
Yeah, I put it in the comments just in case.
Crimes against marriage. Okay. Sure. Where do you want me to read this whole thing first?
Read it inside your head. I can promise you my viewers know this like the back of their hand at this point.
Okay, so maybe you could tell me what your view is of this. What bothers you about this?
So if a man goes into a woman and he dislikes, or if a man goes into a woman whom he has married and is displeased, dislikes, hates her, depending on which version you use, then the man can go to the council and say, well, when I went into this woman, I did not find evidence of her virginity. The mother and the father of the woman are to go to the house where they consummated the marriage and bring the cloth that they lay on to the council. Now, if there was evidence of virginity, then the man owed the father 100 shekels of silver and was to remain married to the virgin whom he has slandered the name of for the rest of his life. Now, if there was not evidence of her proof of her virginity, then all the men in the town are to gather around the father's house while she was standing in front of it, and throw stones at her until she unalives. What was the proof of virginity?
In this instance, what was the proof?
Yeah, what would be the proof? What would be on the cloth?
Blood.
Okay, and where did the blood come from?
It would come from breaking the hymen.
Okay, and as you've recently mentioned, the hymen is broken in multiple ways, right?
Of course.
So is this a very good test of virginity?
No, it is not a 100% test at all. This is obviously back then when they didn't have,
But these are the laws that God gave, right?
Yes, to the Jewish people, yes.
So he would know that not all women bleed their first time, right?
Right.
But he still gave a law to stone women who don't bleed on their wedding night.
Yep.
Does that sound like a very good law? Stone women just because they don't bleed?
Well, it wasn't 100% foolproof, I would say that.
Do you know the average of women who bleed their first time?
I do not.
Would you like me to
and this
tell
would
you?
be and also like this statistic might be different today than it would be back then too.
Well, the hymen doesn't change.
Right, but the activities that women engage in have.
Like what activities?
Well, like traditionally women were, back then, like, they weren't riding horses.
No, they were more riding donkeys, and they were lifting heavy pails of water. Which heavy pails of water, I don't know about. I don't know.
Yeah, like with this passage, like, well, first off, I do want to point out that like we don't follow this law. Like this is
Maybe
something
not
that
anymore,
like
but it was
when,
still.
like Jesus did teach that like the Pharisees and the Jews had become so obsessed with the laws that they had like drifted away from God, from like the true, like what God truly wanted, and gone farther than he had intended.
Okay, so we're going to get back into this law real quick, but to touch on the point you had just brought up, it may not still be in effect today, even though Matthew 5:17-20 says otherwise. But but either way, it was still something that was a law given and was in effect, right?
Yeah. What we are taught now is to follow the Ten Commandments. And
Well, yeah, I know that's
killing
what
is
y'all
one of
are
the
taught
Ten
now.
Commandments, and so stoning people to death would be a sin.
But it was still a law that was taught, as you have, or a law that was given, which means that this would have been something that was happening, right? At least at one point in time. At least in
Yeah,
some.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
This was happening.
So, back to the original point. Your God knows women's anatomy, as you've said.
Yeah.
Your God knows that not all women bleed their first time. Some women aren't even born with a hymen, and that hasn't changed. The ones that would have, they would obviously wouldn't have brought much of the ones that had bled, they wouldn't have brought those ones to the council because they knew that they had bled, which means that they were very obviously a virgin, right? So it would have just been ones that were specifically not having bled, right?
Right. But do you, so like, also, like, it does say to like bring evidence, like, don't you think like in instances where like the woman, like if a woman like broke their hymen, like riding a donkey, or too much stress from lifting something, don't you think that they would like the family would document that immediately and like consult with the rabbi, or like consult with the Sanhedrin or whatever
It's more likely that the woman affected.
They wouldn't just not say anything. They wouldn't just go.
I wasn't done.
Okay, see, you're.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
First of all, I would like to say that most women who have broken their hymen before their first time would have just thought it was their period, wouldn't have thought anything much more of it, or they would have thought it was spotting, because women do spot, but they also have periods. So a lot of women would have just thought it was their period, or it was spotting. You don't really know when it happens, because, women experience cramps as well. Like, cramps, bleeding. Like, we get used to it. So if the hymen breaks, and let's say there's a cramp, we would have just thought it was our period. At least that's what it was with me. Because I didn't bleed my first time. And I was married when I first did it, because I was a true-to-be Christian. Got married when I was young. I'm not with him any longer, but that's because he was a POS. But I waited until I got married to consummate the marriage. But I didn't bleed my first time.
Yeah.
And because of the teachings
I'm very glad you weren't stoned to death for that.
For the teachings in the Bible, I thought there was something wrong with me. Until I finally got out of the belief system and realized I could just do research, and research I do all the time. That's what I've been working on while in this conversation.
Got it.
Well, I'm researching Mesopotamian practices, so nothing to do with the conversation. But either way, initially I was a Christian. I had been raised Christian. I was taught the Bible. I had read the Bible. I was praying every day. He never responded. He wasn't there. But I was praying every day. I was reading my Bible daily. I went to church on Mondays and on Sundays and Wednesdays. I was singing in the church choir. I was helping in the little kids' room. I was going out and I was helping out the community. Like, I was a very devout Christian. So when I got married, I waited till I was married before I ever had sex for the first time. And I did not bleed. I thought there was just something wrong with me. I didn't learn about the hymen until after I escaped the belief system known as Christianity.
Yeah. Can I ask what branch of Christianity you were brought up in?
Well, it was initially Southern Baptist, then it went to non-denominational, then it went back to Southern Baptist.
Yeah. I hear you. And like in those, you know, in your life, like, have you ever been like met with, you know, moments where like you just felt like they're like so defeated and like like with so much struggle and like you didn't have, you felt like there was no out after that? Have you ever been in a situation like that?
I did. I was, and that was while I was still a Christian. The moment I stopped believing, I figured out I could dig myself out of the situation. And that's what I did.
Well, like the way that so from my experience with God is the way that God works is, you know, God isn't gonna, you know, like if you're really broke, God's not gonna just magically put $1 million in your bank account, right? God, like, you know what I mean? Like or that's one example, but like when you're down bad in those moments and asking, you know, humbly from God, like something like, you know, God to give you strength to get through this, to keep pushing, to get to the next day. I firmly believe that that God gives people the ability and power to achieve and overcome things that they wouldn't have been able to overcome without him.
See, I am glad you'll never have to live the story I've had to live, okay? I don't wish that on the worst of my enemies.
Vice versa.
But the situation I was in before I stopped believing in Christianity was hell. Your definition of hell, whatever it may be, I lived through hell. And I will never share that by any means, because it was something that, first of all, I can't share on TikTok because I would have to censor myself a hell of a lot. But
I understand.
It wasn't until I stopped.
I'm very sorry that you've had to go through so much struggle.
Well, I appreciate that. It wasn't until I stopped believing in this God and realized that I had to start standing up for myself, that nobody was going to come and save me. I had to save myself before I was able to make it out of there. I was so close to actually losing my life that if I had stayed longer, I would not be here. And it wasn't until I stopped believing in your Sky Daddy and started believing in myself and started realizing I was the only one who could save me that I finally got out of that situation. It wasn't until I stopped believing that I got out.
I understand. And you know, I'm sorry that you felt like you had to go through all of it all alone, but like also like kudos to you for, you know, having self-determination and, you know, overcoming whatever traumas or whatever you had to go through. You know, like from like as a Christian, like I still think like that God, like Jesus is there for you. You know, and like even when, you know, through all the hard times, and like I just like want to know, like, do you sort of like with the trauma, with, it sounds like you went through something really bad. Do you question like, why would God allow something so horrible to happen to me?
No, because of the fact that I don't believe in this God, so I don't think that. See, for the longest time, I will admit that, like, while I was a Christian, I was like, if there is actually a God, like once I stopped, once I became agnostic, I said, if there is only one God, then that motherfucker must hate me. And that is the exact thought I had. I will admit that.
Yeah. Why does God hate me?
Because of the stuff I went through. But I don't believe in the Abrahamic God. I do have my own beliefs. I'm not an atheist, I'm a polytheist. And that was because of personal testimony, which I also won't share, because I am very private about what's happened to me. For good reason. But personal testimony is why I believe the way I do. I don't believe in the Abrahamic God, but I do have a belief in gods and goddesses.
Yeah.
And like, that might differ from you. You might think that the Abrahamic God is wonderful, but I don't.
Yeah. No, I understand, and and I think like you're, and I don't blame you for believing what you believe either, and I respect what you believe. I'm not going to attack you for your beliefs or anything like that, or go into like polytheism or anything like that. But I will say, like, you know, like God, like I feel like God, you know, God, like I like to go back to when it comes to like dealing with things like this, of like the Serenity Prayer. I'm sure you know what the Serenity Prayer is, which is, you know, God grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, to have the courage to change the things I can, and, you know, have the wisdom to know the difference. I think like what Jesus, and with that, what that is supposed to accomplish is, you know, being at peace with how things are, and no matter where things are, and knowing that at the end, like, you'll be reunited with Jesus. And that's pretty much like what it's what the general message of Christianity and Jesus is, you know, it's all love, and and God is there to help you be at peace. You know, like we always say it at church, you know, peace be with you, to your neighbor. You know, you might not even really think about it, but like, you know, like wishing peace is the ultimate thing, right? Like having like peace with and being content with where things are, not knowing what's going to happen, right? And that's where I think God plays a pivotal role, and that's what I think the overall message and what he does for us.
And you're allowed to think that, but I want you to realize how much harm your beliefs, your faith has caused.
I would say that definitely, like I'm Catholic, right? Catholic Church. There is numerous horrific things that have happened within the Catholic Church, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like from, you know, child abuse, right? You know,
abuse. You have to be careful what you say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why I was.
I don't know what the correct
Just
you know,
schmabuse.
Schmabuse. Okay. but you know what I'm saying, and I understand that like, that doesn't help people turn to God, right? Knowing that people in his church are committing such horrible things, but like, it's also important to I think to remember that even though priests are supposed to be ordained, are like supposedly ordained, well, they are ordained with holy orders to spread the word of God, right? Through like what is apostolic succession, right? But like, those are still people too, and they fall to sins. One of Jesus' own disciples, Judas, fell to temptation. The church is not perfect because it is filled with people, and it's not all just Jesus, right? Like the whole structure of the church is there's a whole bunch of different people, and the devil tries to tempt people all the time.
So I got a question for you. Have you heard of the specific what is it, insurance that the churches have?
I'm sorry?
Do you know the specific insurance that churches have?
No.
Okay. Would you like to learn about it?
Sure.
Okay, give me 1 second. I have to remember what it's actually called.
Are you talking about SAM insurance?
That one, yeah.
Yeah, Schmexual,
So
Schmalt, and
churches have that insurance to protect them in case there's ever any kind of incident.
to protect children, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But do you know what happens to the priests who get caught in it?
oh man, like I went, so like I went to Gonzaga University, and there was like one of the Jesuit priests there who they knew that he was doing stuff, and they just hit him in the enclave in the Jesuit
They move them.
monastery.
They move
yeah, I
They
understand.
don't
Yeah.
they don't lock them up. They move them.
I think that's wrong.
And that is in all churches. That
And
is
that's
not
something that should be called out. And I think that's something that like should be like should definitely be handled like anytime that's going on. And if the church is hiding that, all the people hiding that should be held accountable for that too.
Okay.
And it should be, and it's like I have no, I'm in no way, shape, or form, saying that that's not okay.
You give money to those types of people, though. The ones that would support, the one that
I give
would,
money to the church.
Yeah, exactly. And the church is made up of the people. That church doesn't go to God. That church goes to the people. It lines their pocket.
Well, I mean,
You do
like
realize that, right?
priests get paid, yes, but like it goes towards like my dollar is not 100% going towards the continuation of things like that.
But you're supporting that. You may not.
I don't support that whatsoever. It's
you
like,
may not. Hang on. Before you calm down real quick.
Yeah,
you
I'm
may not fully be supporting it yourself, but you're giving money to somebody that would support that. And you may not even realize it because they do keep it under lock and key pretty well.
yeah.
But that's something you're supporting. You can still be a Christian, but you don't have to go to church.
I don't. I still go to church because I hold firm in the belief that when Jesus said to Peter that not even the gates of hell will prevail against the church, and that like the church will be a rock. I believe that there's definitely
He also says
the devil. Like I would say, like if the devil's going after anybody, it would be the Catholic Church, right? In my opinion.
He also says, as long as 2 or more people are gathering, he will be there. So you don't have to actually go to a building full with people that you don't particularly know. If you have a family, you can always hold church in your own house.
Yeah, and I can't because I'm Catholic and I believe in the Eucharist and transubstantiation of that the bread is turned into the actual body and blood.
Can I get you
and
to
the
do
wine is
something?
turned into the
Yeah.
blood of Jesus Christ.
So can I get you to do something for me, Matthew?
Yeah.
I want you to message me after you get off of here, and I'm going to send you some links. Okay? I want you to look at those links. If you don't mind, of course. I'm
happy to, of course.
Because
Absolutely.
I have some interesting information that you might want to know about. As a researcher, I have researched into quite a few things. You can ask Brett, you can ask Sarah, you can ask any of my friends in the comments section. I'm a researcher. I may be young, but I have quite a bit of knowledge.
Can I share? Can I share something with you guys?
Sarah wants to talk to you real quick.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you want to share? Is it going to be like personal testimony?
It would be a personal testimony. I don't have to share if you don't want anything like that.
I mean, probably not. Just because you've got 5 minutes left, and I don't want it all to be taken up by personal testimony.
No worries.
So, okay, wait, what am I supposed to talk about? What were you talking about? You were talking about the Catholic Church?
We were just talking about, I was just talking about the Eucharist.
Yeah, like you can go get crackers and red wine and do the same exact thing at home.
No, because it would have to be done by a priest.
Wait, you're saying you can't possibly bless the thing that you're about to take as communion?
I could not because I'm not a priest.
Gotcha. Well, that's interesting.
So that belief ties into apostolic succession that God that Jesus gave essentially like through the holy orders of the Catholic Church, like to become priests are actually like directly, there's a direct line of succession from priests directly to the apostles. And they all receive this like the sacrament of holy orders to be able to perform transubstantiation with the host. Every other faith that has the bread and stuff like that, they're not actually receiving the Eucharist. The only other faith I would say would be Orthodox, because they are actually still in that apostolic succession line.
Gotcha. And really quick, I want to go back to before where you were saying that you're not supporting the child rapists that are all over the Catholic Church. I mean, they're not just in the Catholic Church, they're all over the fucking place. Most churches have SAM insurance. The Catholic Church, however, is the one that I'm assuming funds the most of it. But you're saying that when you give them money or you tithe, you're not supporting this going on. And I'm confused on how, because they're using your money whenever they get in trouble. It's not the church just paying it out because they feel like it. It's using the churchgoers' money that you think you're tithing to God, because, in the Bible it talks about it, right? But instead, they use it for whatever the fuck they want. For instance, we have, megachurch pastors that own their own personal jet. I don't think God wanted them to do that.
Right. But, I mean, a little bit of advocate to this would be also the church as an institution views priests as a liability to an extent as well, and they can't control whether or not people do their own heinous acts, and if they did not have insurance, that would probably mean the financial downfall of the entire church.
I mean, I would agree with you, but my question to you is why would you give them money knowing what they do? Like, I understand you think this is a thing that you're called to do, but like, you don't have to.
I give money because I believe in, you know, like also like it, like the money, like you have to look at like where a lot of that money is allocated, like how much of it goes to insurance, you know, right? First of all right, and then also like that money is allocated a lot to the community, like the actual physical church community. Like a lot of that money goes directly to the church, and then some goes up to the diocese, and then so on and so forth goes back to Rome, to the Vatican.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to point out that, like,
I mean, like,
sure,
it's the same.
you can say
it's similar. I would liken it to the United States, right? The United States has committed heinous acts. We all still live here. We all still choose to live here and pay taxes.
well, yeah, because it's something that you have to do, sadly, right? I mean, you could choose not to pay taxes, but then you get to go to the not so fun place.
Right. But we also choose to live here. We could go live in any other country.
Fair. Where
you don't
you
have
probably
to pay
also have
taxes
to pay
to this country
taxes.
because you don't have to live here. But we believe in the United States, in the overall mission of the United States, right? And the idea of it, of, you know, having a place, you know, of the people, by the people, for the people. Whether you believe that any of that shit is, oh, sorry, excuse my language. Whether you believe any of that stuff is, you know, actually how our country is or not is a whole nother topic that's, you know, completely unrelated. I'm not trying to get political at all, you know, but like I would liken it to that, like the overall mission of the church. Like I believe in Jesus. I believe Jesus was the Son of God. I believe in that he created this church and that this is Jesus's church. That's what I believe.
Gotcha. Well, I was
I know we're
just
running
trying
out
to
of
point
time,
out
guys.
that, like, no, you're good. But yeah, basically what I was pointing out was, sure, you can say, I don't agree with what the priests do, but by you giving them money, you're still supporting the disturbing, disgusting priests that do horrible things.
Yeah, and I know some people can't afford to leave. I saw some comments about that. Some people cannot afford to leave, but, you know, like you can, like if you really want to leave, you would find a way. It's like the same kind of thing of like people aren't ready to be parents, and they're like, how could I afford a kid? I'd only make this much money. But somehow, some way, those parents that have kids that even weren't figuring it out, those single moms, they figure it out somehow. If you really want something, you can go after and go get it. That's what I would say to that.
Your
Gotcha.
time
Well,
is up on the panel. Thank you for coming up.